happen on a comic book canon, so let's start the show. Joe and Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess out to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
Let's start the show. It's Comic Book Canon, the all-new, all-fresh comic book canon. I feel like we're taking you through a tour of our brand new house. Very excited for this, but first, let's just get it out of the way. Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Go Birds. That game was tough, but we're not here to talk that much about that game.
Listen. I knew we were going to win. I wasn't worried at any point, even when we were only up by 6.
I was
but nonetheless, the Eagles prevailed. They beat the Packers, obvious. I'm ready for a Super Bowl, Jeff.
I mean, it's very, very possible. I do not want to jinx it, though. But more on that next week. Hopefully the game is on Saturday, so it doesn't get away with our canon time. But here we are again, all new, all fresh canon. We're actually just seeing this stuff for the first time. I'm not liking all of this space surrounding us here, so we're going to have to fix that. But we've done a lot of work on this show, the show intro, all of your favorite segments as well, plus some new segments coming down the pipe.
Jeff.
Yes.
Hey, aren't we supposed to be like this? Oh, but then you can't see our cool new background.
Yeah, but the background's not that important at this point.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll go with this. You're right. We'll go with this moving forward. Also, we had a guest plan today with a special announcement. We'll still have that special announcement close to fresh from the comic shop, but I have a feeling things are happening with the fires. For those that are out on the West Coast, our thoughts, our prayers, our hopes we're thinking about you all. I have a few friends who have avoided. I have one friend who did not avoid losing everything. So, again, there are more important things going on in the world. That's why we do the canon, is to get away from some of that stuff and just have a good time talking about the things that we love. Normally during this time, Joe and I do an intro, and then we get into we get into the featured episode issue. No different this time, except it just looks a little bit different, right, Joe?
Correct. Yeah. Look at all these.
Sure does. Would you look at that? This is featured episode issue number 210. Dan De La Torre coming through again with Adventure Comics number 210 from 1955. Superboy encounters a superpowered dog that arrives in Smallville via a rocket. Upon investigation, he discovers that the canine is Crypto, his childhood pet from Krypton, whom Jor-El had sent to space as a test subject before Krypton's destruction. Reunited, Superboy and Crypto share adventures, but challenges arise as Crypto's presence threatens to reveal Superboy's secret identity. That's right. We got Crypto coming in the new James Gunn film. The writer here is Otto Binder, and the art is by Kurt Swan. Joe, any comments on this issue?
Obviously we got the trailer. I'm stoked about Crypto. I think he's just such a cool thing to bring in. We really haven't had a really upfront main superhero character with a pet, at least, and I can remember in recent history. I mean, there was Pizza Dog in Hawkeye, but only a very minor role of that character, and it's not like Hawkeye's like character like Superman or Spider-Man. Yeah. So this is going to be kind of cool. I love dogs, so I'm a big fan. And not only that, but I know a lot of people were complaining about how the dog looks in the movie because it's not exactly comic book accurate, but I actually think it looks cooler that the dog is like a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit on like the meeker looking side, but then has these like powers. I think that's really cool.
Very kind of under thought about, right? You're not gonna think much about this dog right here, whereas big bulking man and red, blue, and yellow tights obviously will make quite the impression. So that is our featured episode issue. Good work on that, Mr. De La Torre. Also, if you, good point, Spider Dude. Dave, do not forget about Dogpool. We have the change.
Yeah, okay, there you go. But again, a very minor appearance and stuff like that. Not Crypto is clearly going to be, a supporting character of sorts in Superman.
Yeah, I mean, he's featured in the trailer, so obviously crypto will probably have a big part. If you have not done so already, please like and subscribe before we really jump into the news. And with the news, Joe, with the news, we have a brand new intro as Josh does deliver the news and rumors. Is that correct?
I believe that is what the intro said. Yes.
Let's roll it.
Josh delivers the news and rumors.
There we go. That is your intro, Josh. How do you feel about it?
I'm loving this. You know what? I'm going to be 100% honest. I was blown away by the episode issue. I didn't realize you updated that as well. And I love the significance and order. So, yeah, I'm loving this, man. This, hats off to Jeff because he did a phenomenal job. Spent a lot of time into this, man. And I'm loving this a lot.
Okay,
yeah.
I appreciate it, but this was a team effort right here. Again, this is our brand new house. By the way, again, like and subscribe if you have not done so, but this is Josh's news segment right here. He delivers the news and he delivers the rumors. With that said, why don't we just get into it, Joshua? How does that sound?
Yeah, so you know what? We were just talking about crypto and Superman, and we just got confirmation that James Gunn and his dog will be reveal a new look into Superman at Puppy Bowl on February 9th. Funny thing, Puppy Bowl is actually owned by Warner Brothers, so that's kind of interesting. I did not know that. And I'm excited to see. I'm assuming it's going to be maybe a trailer of some sorts, but knowing it's the Puppy Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more crypto in action. I cannot wait to see crypto. I mean, I am such a huge fan of crypto that I even have this book right here for $379 only.
We'll get into that during the comic shop. Let's just easy now, okay? We're not there just yet, so.
I know. But yeah, I'm excited about this, and you know what? We got 6 months until the release date, and I'm happy for this. And like Joe was saying, you know, crypto is going to be probably more than a supporting character, I think, not a main character, but it's going to be great to see him in action. And we've seen him throughout different shows and everything before, but I think this is going to be awesome. So what do you guys think about seeing more crypto on the big screen and another reveal of Superman?
I think this whole show here, comic book canon, the whole crew, the whole team that puts comic book canon on, we are all dog fans. I'm not going to be able to get enough of crypto. Joe, your thoughts as well. I guarantee you, I just spoke for you.
Yeah, I had no idea about the Puppy Bowl being owned by Warner Brothers, but it makes sense for them to kind of cross promote something here. They've got a movie coming out where there is a dog, like I said, supporting character, major character, whatever you may want to classify crypto as. That makes a perfect sense during one of the most watched days of television. So that should be pretty cool.
Well, time out. Is it during the Super Bowl, Josh? Because the Super Bowl's on the 9th.
Well, I mean, the Puppy Bowl I thought was always the day before, so that's what it said. Just Puppy Bowl is on February 9th. Maybe it's during I would imagine maybe Puppy Bowl is, early, mid-morning, afternoon.
I always thought it was the same day.
It used to be the halftime show, I think, when it first started. We'll see. We'll look into it. Either way, we're getting a brand new look at Superman, brand new look at crypto, and Gunn and Ozu are going to be delivering that to us. Speaking of delivering, Josh, you have another news story to deliver to our fine audience.
Yes, so we're going to jump into some Marvel news. Marvel Studios reportedly have a plan to recast Black Panther in the upcoming Avengers film, and also for Black Panther 3. Now, this has been discussed, ever since we lost Chad years ago when he passed away. A lot of people thought that they should have recast him right away. Some felt like out of respect for the actor, they shouldn't have. But it puts it in an interesting way because, Black Panther 2 came out. They confirmed his death on screen. So this can go a couple different ways. I would imagine this is going to be a variant at some point. Obviously, we know that, variants are going to show up in the multiverse. We're just going to have to wait and see this play out. I'm open for it. I honestly feel like, A, you need a Black Panther in the universe, and B, he's a very important part of Secret Wars, especially if they're taken off of the newer modern run of Secret Wars. He is a big key player in there too. So, um, no matter what happens, I mean, I'd love to see more Black Panther in the MCU, and I'm open to this.
Joe.
Yeah, so I've been saying this from the beginning. Rather than recast T'Challa, let's let Chadwick Boseman's legacy live on with T'Challa and the original Black Panther movie and all his other appearances, and pass the mantle on. And I really, what I've been hoping for, because he's such an amazing actor. Both of these options are such amazing actors. Either resurrect Killmonger, Michael B.
Mhm.
have him be the Black Panther of the MCU going forward, or M'Baku, Winston Duke. Both of them, absolutely tier 1 acting skills. We've already seen them in not just Marvel roles, but in the MCU, in these the same movies as T'Challa, and I would love to see just one of them simply take over the mantle of Black Panther for Wakanda. I think that they tried to do it with Shuri. I don't think it stuck. I don't think that people really were super into it, and I know there were a lot of issues with the movie and with the actor that plays Shuri and so on and so forth. I would much rather see it go to Winston Duke or Michael B. Jordan.
I like your angle there, Joe. In the following order from what I would least like to what I would most like, I'm going to say M'Baku. I would least like to see him as Black Panther.
Really, least?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would more like to see Killmonger, right? Mm-hmm. But at the top of my list, why can't it be T'Challa's son? Like, recast T'Challa's son as an older actor from where we saw Black Panther 2. Josh does not like that idea. I like that idea. Please discuss.
I think it would they would have to wait some amount of time. Like, the Black Panther 2 happens like in pretty close to the present day, and he was like 6.
No, we could do something here. Anyways, that's what I would like to see. Okay.
Sure, I'll allow it.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. With that said, wow, that's awkward. Both of you guys were vehemently against that, but I think we could come to some sort of an agreement. Joe and I, at least, with maybe Killmonger. That'd be really cool. I think that'd be a nice.
I would be open to that too. I mean, why not?
There we go. We just negotiated it. Let's talk to Kevin Feige.
Marvel's problem is they tend to sometimes waste very good actors with one-off appearances, and Michael B. Jordan coming back, I think he would do great.
Maybe it's not so much Marvel as it is the actor who does not want to be stuck in kind of a 12-year plan. That's like possible. I guarantee there are a lot of actors out there that do not want that. So I think it's a little bit of both. But anyways, why don't we move on to something I feel like we've been discussing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's never resolved. And there's more information coming out that's kind of going against the information we heard last week, which will probably be against the information we heard here next week. So go for it, Joshua.
Yeah, so the Golden Globes happened last week, and Matt Reeves was there. He got interviewed, and we got confirmation. Filming starts later this year. He also confirmed that he's, when he gets in the writing room, he takes a while. He's also had some personal stuff happen in his life. He didn't say what, but sounds like that ended up being true. And he was asked about, the rumor that Patterson's, his Batman would be merging with James Gunn's DCU. And Matt said it comes down to whether or not it makes sense. They'll have to see what happens down the line. So to me right now, based off of that comment, and I think what a lot of people are thinking, it's a 50-50 right now, I think honestly, we're gonna see how Superman does, and I think it's gonna do this. I think if Superman does well, obviously they're gonna probably look into merging the two properties together. But if they want to, and say Superman doesn't do well, they have an Elseworld, Batman that continues to bring them in money and is doing well and do their own thing. So it's a toss up. And you know what? I would be happy either way, no matter what happens. I mean, just as long as you let Matt Reeves keep making the movies, in my opinion, and building out his universe, and then if you want Patterson to show up here and there in the DCU, great. But as long as Matt's in charge, I mean, I'll be happy.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been promoting this idea for a while now. Just I want to see more of this Battinson that we've gotten a nice taste of in one movie, and a little bit of more of Matt Reeves in Penguin. I do hope that I think it works really well. Just the Gotham that we've seen so far in those two projects, I think that works really well. It's Gotham. It's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be dreary. It's supposed to be just filthy and crime ridden, and that's what Gotham's supposed to be like. I know, what we've seen so far in Superman, the trailer and stuff, and what we've heard from Gunn. Obviously, the greater DC universe isn't like that, but Gotham is always like that comparatively. You watch the animated series, you read the comic books. Gotham is very different than other cities. So I think even though the vibes are way off, way different, it can still fit into the greater DC universe. So I'm all for this. I really have liked, the first Robert Pattinson project, and I want to see more. Also, before I stop, the people need to know, Mon Comics, working on amateur taxidermy. We got to know a little bit more about this. Also, shout out to Mon Comics. The Count and Crew will be making an appearance on his show Friday night. What is it? Friday Night 5? Big 5?
7? Oh, no, the 25th of January.
The date is the 24th, right?
I don't know.
25th.
Yeah, 25th?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, okay. We'll promote
Saturday.
it on the next, once we get some official Mon Comics promo material, which we're still waiting to see. His marketing team has not hit up our marketing team. I'll say that for sure.
125.
Yes,
We're good.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited to see this. Being an amateur taxidermist, I'm a little actually concerned to see what that will turn out to be.
Well, we create European mounts for deer and coyotes as a side job. So if you ever need European mounts for deer and coyotes,
hey, if he's making money, it can't be that bad. I was just worried about some stuffing coming out of eyeballs and things like that. That's getting sick. Let's move on to the next. Oh wait, I didn't give my thoughts. Yeah, I want to see Reeves's Batman, Gotham universe, whatever, merged into the DCU. I'm just tired of all this back and forth, and I want them to just decide and tell us what's going on. You know what I mean? I know they have a plan. I know they're trying to figure things out. I get it. But as an impatient fan who now has to wait to 2027? Is that when the next Batman's coming out, Josh? Yeah, I'm not happy with that. So give us something to eat. Give us some little nugget to eat to tide us over.
Which I don't understand why it would come out 2027 of October. Because if they start filming, and he confirmed that they're filming this year, even if they start filming later in the year, I mean, I still think they could make that October 2026 release date. But that's just my opinion. I mean, unless they're looking at another long film and a heavy, shoot schedule, they also announced that they're going to be doing a lot of VX special effects shooting.
VFX.
Yeah. They're going to do a lot of shooting for that. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's weird because if you say, hey, we're starting shooting next year, I can understand, but you're still going to have so you're telling me you have about almost 2 years of touching up and doing stuff. It sounds just a little weird.
I mean, we got Penguin. Hopefully we get something else in that universe because Penguin was outstanding. So, and Colin Farrell winning at the Golden Globes. Congratulations on that. Well deserved. Let's move on to the next topic, which I'm very excited about. This little news piece it's like so obvious, but finally announced. Go for it, Josh.
Yeah. So, this actually has a little bit of controversy around this. Some people are happy about it, some people kind of aren't. We're not surprised. It's been rumored for almost a year now, I think. But Jason Momoa will officially play Lobo in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which starts shooting tomorrow in
Oh
the
wow.
UK. They start production anything tomorrow and filming. And you know what? I think Jason, if you look at him and there's pictures of him with makeup, I think he was born to play Lobo. I can't wait to see this. Like, I think he's going to do great. And he even said when he originally got cast in Zack Snyder's universe, he thought that's who he was playing before he became Aquaman.
That's interesting.
So I'm happy for this. I mean, I know some people are, upset because because James has taken the kind of, I don't say the good parts, but he's taken certain actors from Zach's universe and turned them into other characters. But man, like, as long as I get a good character and it's a great movie, I could care less. So, I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see him, and I think it's going to be great.
Joe.
Yeah, so I'm not someone who's super knowledgeable about Lobo. I know he's like he was made by DC as a kind of a response to Wolverine, with a little bit more like comic relief, but just kind of this being this rough around the edges kind of loudmouth. I'm excited to see this. I mean, Jason Momoa is a solid actor. He definitely has the physical attributes and the prowess for a role like this, and the character seems really cool. Everyone that I know that's like really deep into DC Comics really loves Lobo, so I'm excited about this. I mean, I think it just makes sense.
I'm excited about this because, well, it does make sense. It's perfect casting, in my opinion. But I'm also excited to see actors or people producing or directing or whoever as genuine fans of a certain IP, and they get their hands on and start to work with it. Jason Momoa has said that he has always been a fan of Lobo. He's collected comics since way back, and Lobo was his favorite character. To see him get to play that, to see him, he's going to be perfect for this part. There are so many characters he's done that have the same tone as Lobo, and I'm very excited to see him in that makeup, that costume, whatever it is. It's going to be badass. Super, super happy that he got the part. So
yeah, and sure. I just want to say it's unfortunate that we're not going to get Nori Jordan as Lobo. That would have been great. I will say, given his build, once we kind of get a little bit more into mutants and that we got an Alpha Flight team. Hello, Puck.
Let's hell yeah, Jordan Nori, Puck. Can you grow your beard out like a Joe beard though? Let's take a look close up. That's a Puck beard right there.
Puck beard. I'm a little slightly too tall to be
You're
Puck.
Too tall for Puck for sure.
Yeah, not much.
But yeah, that's a good call right there. All right, we have one more tidbit of news, but if you would like and subscribe if you have not done so already. 23 million people watching on a Sunday night. Very happy to see that, including Immortal Scruffy. Hello and Happy New Year. We didn't say Happy New Year to everybody. Wow, Happy New Year. All right, what do we got, Josh, as our last news piece here?
Yeah, so this is some controversial news, something that is a real head scratcher, and nobody probably had on the bingo card really happening. But CGC has announced a price hike increase again, which is very interesting considering that last year was probably the worst year ever. We had a lot going on, and I do believe they did a price decrease last year. They lowered prices, and I'm not sure what the originals were, but just to break it down, so for modern, so pretty much 1975, the modern tier up to the present was $25. It is now $27 with about a 40-day turnaround time. I think a 34-day fast track. Vintage, which is pretty much golden age, silver age, anything 1975 and under, is moved up $2 as well, from $40 to $42 with a 97-day turnaround right now, 34 fast track. And the high value was $85 and now is $95. That was a $10 hike up in pay. They also pretty much did it on everything games, posters, et cetera, et cetera. But we're comic people, so we don't care too much about that. I thought it was interesting, and I'm going to be honest. It's only a $2 hike up in pay, but at the same time, the way services right now, turnaround times, some books, cases might be scratched up, or we can sit there and say that grading's not right. It is a head scratching move based on CGC's part, and we know PSA is coming out later this year sometime. So again, I don't send too much in to get slabbed, so this doesn't really affect me. But I do know there are collectors out there, or sellers rather, that are sending stuff out, and this might affect people. I just kind of feel like it wasn't the right move for them. They shouldn't have done this. They should have left things as it is and should have tried to improve on their service and turnaround times. And then maybe if later in the year things went smooth, yeah. But knowing that you do it pretty much first week of January, yeah, not a lot of people are happy about it.
I mean, who would be happy about a price hike, especially when you're getting subpar service from a company that saw a massive spike? Now, I think there's obviously going to be a lot of pushback. We've discussed this before. There is a lot of pushback and a lot of people who are starting to become uninterested in getting their comic books slabbed. There are also other options. EGS, we love EGS. We talk about EGS every show. That's just another alternative to keep your precious keepsakes safe. A lot of people were doing this for resale value too with CGC. And again, people are not looking for CGC or even slab books as much as they were, especially during the pandemic. Joe, I'm not sure if you have any thoughts as well, but we could wrap that up with a nice bow with any words you may have.
Yeah, sure. I did hear a prediction, and this is simply a prediction. This is not confirmed. This isn't anything, doesn't come from anything that CGC has said. A couple months ago, for those of you who don't know, they did, I think it was back in July, and then they did it again in the fall. It was what they called like bulk orders. They did like bulk discounts essentially, where if you sent in, I think it was at least 15 books, anywhere from 15 to 25 books of either, it was modern in July, and then in the fall it was vintage. You got a discount. So some people have been talking about maybe CGC is hiking the price of individual books, individual grading for books, but they're going to install the bulk pricing for if you submit, 15 to 25 of a certain group. That way they're getting more chunks in at a time, chunks of books, rather than getting, smaller orders of 5 books, orders of 10 books, 3 books, whatever, single books, whatever it may be. People are thinking that the price hike might be for that, in order to basically make it so that if people are bulk submitting, they're going to get the old prices that we currently have. That's just a prediction. Again, that is not off of anything CGC said. That was just a couple people in some forums talking about that. It would be interesting if that was the case. But obviously it's price hike that's happening. Don't forget, there is a limit on when you can get things in. So if you're submitting this month to CGC, I believe you have to fill out the form by like the 27th or the 25th. 20, yeah, okay, there we go. And the books have to be at CGC, so you can fill it out, print it out, and then take a couple extra days to send it in. They have to be at CGC, received by February 11th. So if you fill it out by the date and then get it shipped out, first week of February, should be fine being there by the 11th.
We're going to bring Dan De La Torre in for a quick comment on this. The judge himself. Please, Judge, speak as quick as you can.
All right. There's a number of things. I'll rattle things off. Keep in mind the big picture here that Blackstone, when they bought CGC, they own over 230 companies. And this is probably one of the smaller companies that they have. So after every new year, there's a inflation adjustment cost. That's probably what's going on here. So they're paying their employees more. But the timing is poor because they still haven't fixed the problems that got them in trouble in the first place.
Lots of problems.
They have the Bananagate thing. They still haven't fixed that. They're looking into it, but no announcement. So why would you send your comics in? Raw comics are going through the roof because people are suspicious and they don't trust the CGC. label anymore. And my biggest prediction is this, is that at some point, Blackstone, the only reason they bought that is to get as much money as out of this company as possible, like they're doing with all the others. As soon as they stop being profitable, they're going to dump that company. And I'm predicting it might even be this year, which is perfect timing for PSA, because PSA, they're not a stupid company. They see all the mistakes that CGC is making. I think they waited for the right opportunity, which is this year, to launch their label. Now, if PSA can gain market share, that will be the end of CGC, or maybe the end of the relationship with Blackstone and CGC, because who knows what happens once Blackstone pulls the plug on these guys. Does CGC, who's under obligation, they signed a huge contract, they had to receive $500 million. Can they survive this? I don't know. We're not privy to what's in that contract, how much money they actually have. And if you're going to send a whole bunch of comics back, I just watched another show where the guy sent 50 comics in. Each and every one of those had that little Ben with the banana thing on it. So again, the timing is poor, but Blackstone, bottom line, they don't care about you. They don't care about your little collection. They care about the money in your pocket. And that's what they're doing here. Once that expires, they'll dump this company ASAP.
For sure. But that's a bold statement, a bold prediction. And, here we are, 2025. Let's see if it happens. So well done, Josh, on the brand new fresh news. Why don't we just close it out once again with your theme song? This is so smooth.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
All right, Josh and Dan, we will see you a bit later. Well done. Oh, we're right here, actually. Nope, we're right here, actually. Well done indeed. Joe and I are going to be, oops, that's not how we do things here, is it? Wow, I am all kind of flustered. Okay, anyways, that was a great first news segment of the year, was it not? It's fresh, it's new, and Josh gets it done. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We do a thing here, again, every week where we do something called Ask Joe and Jeff as well. So get those questions in right now, because this is a community-centered show. We are the number one show in general on YouTube, as you all know. 27 million people currently watching right now. And we like to hear from you people. So please ask Joe, Jeff, some questions. Could be any predictions you have for 2025. What's the first book you got for 2025? Anything related to that. And while we do that, again, another community-driven segment that we do is called the Popcorn, where we get to know you. So we're just going to, real quick, Joe, you look like you have something that you want to say.
I just want to say, you're great, Jeff. We like you.
I think you're great, and I like you. But let's listen to the new Popcorn open songs.
I'm sorry, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry that I started a rumor that you smoke meth.
I have all my teeth. I do not smoke meth. I'm only saying that because Alicia's watching anyways. But again, tell us what you think about these new segments, how they make you feel inside, because here's another old segment with a brand new facelift.
Popcorn. It's time for comic book canon. Popcorn. Let's learn about each other and have fun.
So I don't know if we're going to play that every time before we roll the popcorn in, but here is Mr. Mazpaz himself, Super Crispy Comics, talking to us. Again, this guy is super talented. Every fresh from the comic shop he sends in just looks beautiful, visually stunning. Again, we want those aesthetics there. Well-composed shot. But he also does a lot of other artistic things. Check it out.
What up, comic book homies? Joe here from San Diego, California. And on Instagram, I go by supercrispy.comics and also Mazpaz Leather. My first comic book was Punisher Warzone #3. And I remember I had the Punisher van and the action figure, and so I was already a big fan of the Punisher. So when I went to the comic book store, this was the first one that I found, and I remember I got it and still have it. An interesting fact about me is that I'm also a leathersmith, so I do cool stuff like make motorcycle seats and wallets with comic book stuff, and also just artwork. I'm gonna go ahead and nominate Kaboom Coffee Comics and Arts for the next popcorn. And thanks, Comic Book Canon, for having your channel, because I love it, and I love seeing everybody share their comic books. It's the coolest ever. So peace, y'all. Have a good one.
And we love you too, sir. By the way, Super Crispy did win the month. I can't remember what month of 2024. We're going to be actually revealing the winner of December for Fresh from the Comic Shop. So keep sending those fresh gets. Real quick before continue with the questions here as well. But I do want to address this. I was curious about where is it? Was curious about the secret guest. The secret guest, I think, is dealing with certain wildfires on the West Coast. So we will get back to you. We'll have an announcement tonight about Fresh from the Comic Shop that guest is a part of, but won't be here to talk about it. So stay tuned for that for Fresh from the Comic Shop, because right now it's going to be Ask Joe. And with Ask Joe and this brand new fresh refresh of the comic book canon, check this out.
Ask Joe, ask Joe, ask Joe, ask Joe, and Jeff.
I like that one better than the previous one, the Barbershop Quartet, I have to say. Joe,
That's a cool one. I like it.
Okay, great. All right, so we do have some questions, but please keep sending those questions in. Let's get to it with Josh, actually. Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff as well. What are your comic collecting goals for the year? Joe, talk to me.
Yeah, so, man, I've mentioned this book as kind of my big, ginormous grail that's kind of within reach. It's going to be tough this year. It is going to be tough. I've got a lot of stuff going on financially that will make this kind of difficult, but I'm still trying. One of my two big ones, the two big ones are Chamber of Chills 19, Amazing Fantasy 15. Chamber of Chills 19, classic cover. With the skeletal hand holding the drink and the woman in the background. It's a Lee Elias cover. And then, of course, Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. Those are my, within reason biggest grails. I would love to be able to get one this year, even if I have to utilize a trade and trade off some personal collection books. That's what I'm aiming for. I mean, other than that, just continuing to fill out the runs that I do collect. EC Pre-Code Horror, Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm getting pretty close there to the end. I'm about 14 or 15 books right now I still need a 1 though. And then, continue to pick up Golden Age Batman.
Those are lofty goals. And if I compare last year to this year right now, I didn't really come into 2024 with any goals, right? And I feel the same way. During the year, I'm like, you know what? I need a really solid G.I. Joe #1. That was, again, I say it almost every episode. That was the first big book. Joe looked it up. That was the first big book, big back issue that I bought. It was $20. It was like, and then somehow I don't know what happened to it, and I'm really sad. But I got one back thanks to Joe. It's in beautiful condition. So I'll probably have some goals throughout the year. I do think I want to replace this Spider-Man poster display right here with some more wall books. So I'm not sure what those wall books will be, but we'll see. So please, also, this isn't just Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh and Dan. Let us know what what your goals are, and feel free to answer the questions for yourselves in the comments below as well. Good question. All right, I gotta ask this one, Joe. Why didn't you coordinate with Jeff for the Eagles?
Yeah, I should have. I do. I have a hat I could have worn. I've got, I don't know, a jersey, 2 shirts. I could have. I should have. Next week.
Yeah, next week for sure. Well, don't change what you did, because I did. This is what I've been wearing for 3 weeks. I wear my Brandon Graham jersey over this. I have my Eagles underwear on as well, and I have my Eagles Super Bowl champs T-shirt. So that's what I wear now for game day, and it's worked so far. So good question, Kate. We appreciate that. Brian Klotz asked Joe and Jeff and Josh, with the price increase being a part of the news, how does this affect Josh's comics goal to send in a book for grading this year? Well, let's bring Josh in.
Hey, Josh.
I guess I'm on the stand here. Honestly, it doesn't really affect me much because I'm kind of in the process of, if I have any raw books, I'm either trying to upgrade them to already graded copies, or I'm going to buy current graded copies of books I don't have. But I mean, at the same time, I'll probably wait a few months, see how everything goes. And I'm not a seller, so like even if I sell my books or send my books in and there's a turnaround time and I gotta wait 3 or 4 months, I'm not gonna, not gonna affect me much. I'm not gonna worry about it. So yeah, I mean, here's my answer.
All right.
I don't know what you guys want to answer in on that.
For me, it doesn't affect me at all. So
Yeah, I mean, I already have pulled back on getting books graded and just have been selling more raw over the last, honestly, year or two. I definitely have some things that I need to send in, some books that there's big jumps between, the grade levels that I think it could be. Both old books that are, just more expensive keys that the difference of half a grade point can be several $100s, all the way up to the books that are, modern books that are 9/8 that, that astronomical jump between a 9.4, a 9.6, and a 9.8. So it really doesn't affect me. It's not going to really affect how much I'm sending in because I'm really only sending in those specific kind of books.
again, for me, it doesn't affect me one bit. I'm not one to go looking for or sending in books to get graded other than EGS, to be honest with you.
And I do just want to say too, like the only books that I'm sending in are like books that I want to preserve and keep well, and that's like I have a first Silver Age Penguin, Ra's al Ghul that I have that's raw, my Batman 251, Adams cover. Like I'm not sending in dollar bin stuff or anything like that. I'm sending in books that I want to make sure are protected, and would be nice to see a nice little grade on them too. So. Yeah.
Hey, to each his own. There you go. That question is answered. We have another question here, so we're going to swap you up for a live question. Josh, we'll see you a little bit later. Damn, I did it again.
You did it again.
Wow. Mr. De La Torre, the Honorable De La Torre. Judge, how are you? You have a question, a live question.
Doing just fine. By the way, shout out to Bryce Comics. I won this on his channel, and it's Venom number 3 right here.
Oh, nice.
His first appearance of No.
Yep.
Okay, great. So the question is here, this is a 4th print, and CGC is still saying this is the first appearance of that particular character.
Oh.
Now, I've been collecting for decades, and we used to have reprints in the day from the Bronze Age. It would be slightly different. They'd usually either redo the cover or have different coloring, whatever, but that was a reprint. I don't consider this a first appearance. I consider the first print the first appearance of this. Now, others have argued with me saying that it's a ongoing run from the publisher and that sort of thing, but where does that end? 8th print, 10th print, and they still say it's the first appearance here? And again, this is my argument by having CGC as the arbiter of everything comic book-wise. They've made a whole variety of mistakes, and they're continuing to make mistakes regarding classification of what's what. What is your guys' opinion on this? I say no. I don't think this is the first appearance. It's a nice comic to have, but apparently the community has accepted CGC's classification of this. Again, multiple prints, and they're still saying it's the first appearance.
I'll jump in super quick because it's easy for me. That's a reprint of the first appearance, so therefore it's the first appearance. When you do a facsimile for Hulk 181, that's the first appearance of Wolverine or whatever, however you want to classify it. But to me, that's a reprint of the first appearance, and it's a first appearance. So, Joe.
So back up, Jeff. So you're saying that this 4th print is the first appearance in your view?
Yeah, it's a reprint of the first appearance. It's a variant of the first appearance of a character. Is how I.
Would you still? So let me follow up. Would you still say if that was the 20th print of that, is that still the first? Really? Yep. Wow.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. That's how I've always looked at it. Like even back in the day when they were doing reprints, like remember the first Cable New Mutants '87 where it was gold, right? That's the second print of Cable, or second printing of the first appearance of Cable. That's how I look at it.
Okay, with respect, I don't agree at all. I think it's a reprint. But Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is kind of want to define some things here because I think it's important to do this. I do not consider 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 11th printings to be reprints. Reprints and facsimiles are something that come later on down the line after the print run has stopped on that book and it has gone back to print. It's ceased being printed for some amount of time. Whereas, even if it gets up to like an 8th printing, that's still all within the same year the book came out, in the same rolling 12 months. Usually it's, the month after or 2 months after they do a second print and then go from there monthly, depending on how well the book's selling. That being said, a book that has, comes out, gets a reprint, no matter what kind of reprint it is, a facsimile or, Image First or the True Believers from Marvel or the DC Dollar Comics. They've done plenty of those things over the years. Those are actual reprints. Reprints, it is a reprint of a first appearance, but I wouldn't call it the first appearance. While if it is a second, third, fourth print, I do consider that the first appearance because it's still in the same, it's chopped up by print run, but it's still the same, they're not doing anything to like the printing plates. They're not making new printing plates for a second, third, and fourth print other than, if they do change one little thing on it. Does that make sense?
Let me follow up with both of you, and I'll end it on this, that, okay, I still don't agree, but you said that most of these are done in the same year.
Yeah.
What's the end date for that? Let's say it's a 3-year run, a 4-year run. You've got the 50th print of whatever. That's still the first appearance. Do you guys have a what's the line in the sand regarding that sort of run?
I don't think there is a line in the sand, particularly. We saw Something Is Killing the Children have, I think, 8 printings for issue number 1. I think Department of Truth had 9. I'm sure Ultimate Spider-Man is up to like 6 or 7 at this point already. That being said, they're going to eventually just stop. They're eventually just not going to sell enough of the printing, and they're eventually going to stop. And like I said, I would think they all are within about a year. So I just can't. They just can't keep printing the same book over and over again. It's eventually the sales are going to go down too low. It doesn't make economic sense to do so.
Jeff, do you agree? Do you have a line in the sand?
I don't. I honestly don't, and maybe that's just too simple of an answer. That's how I've always seen it. It's just how I, look at it. I don't see a delineation between. I see them as variants. Like we didn't call them variants back in the day, but they're variants of the same book, in my opinion.
Well, this is a generational thing because I'm 20, 30 years older than both of you guys. So collecting has really changed since then. This never would have been accepted back in my day. I'm certain of it.
Well, here's the deal. You are the judge. You are our wise advisor as well, and we could take your advice or not. But we do respect you, and thank you for the question. We're going to see you a little bit later because you have a job to do.
Yeah, there's one more thing that I'm going to note here. There are a lot of cases that second, third, fourth printings are actually quite a bit more sought after and more expensive. I shouldn't say more sought after because usually the first printing is the most sought after, but due to, even if there's not as much demand due to just lower supply, lower print run, that the second printing, third printing is worth more. They're still certainly very collectible. And it's kind of the same thing as what do you consider a key? There are people that only consider first appearances keys, but what about first solo series, first meeting between two characters, first time a character takes on a new mantle or wears a new costume? It's everyone collects differently, and some people collect those second, third, fourth, fifth printings of keys and stuff like that, and some people don't. And I think that's just part of the game, part of the cool thing about this community where everyone can do as they please.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely, Your Honorable De La Torre. We'll see you later, Judge. I did it again. Holy cow.
Get this guy out here.
So bad. I'm fried from all.
It's okay. I removed him. Josh, we need you. Josh, you're the new co-host. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Never mind.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It's
not the same chemistry, right? He does his part. He does his part. All right, moving on. We got Nukes Comics. Ask Joe and crew, in a no holds barred fight, who wins, Superman or Omni-Man?
Oh, man, I gotta say Superman here. I'm not the biggest Invincible fan, and I certainly haven't watched the entire series, but it's hard to put anyone up against Superman.
But here's the thing, like, I have a follow-up question to that question. I would think, at first I thought Superman too, but then I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm not as familiar with Omni-Man as I am with Superman, obviously. But like, does Omni, and everybody let us know in you're in the comments what you think as well, but does Omni-Man have a weakness? Like, I'm not sure. Like, Omni-Man can bring a freaking kryptonite rock and just shove it in Superman's chest and it's game over. Does Omni-Man have any sort of weakness? So I can't say for sure. I just would like to think that good would win over evil, but that's very naive of me to think that way. So I can't quite answer this, Nukes, unless you answer my question. What is Omni-Man's weakness? Moving on. Kate with the question. With issues with CGC and price increases, do you think raw grading will increase from services?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, some companies do have what's called a raw grading, where they look at the book, they assign a grade to it, they put a sticker on the bag for the book, don't encapsulate it, and they send it back to you. And it costs less than getting it graded and encapsulated. I think it's a stupid service. In my opinion, you know, you're just as good asking a very knowledgeable person who is, you know, pretty good at grading, and, you know, they'll often do it for free. I have seen some vendors charge $5 for like a CGC, like a pre-screen kind of thing, where they'll look at books for you for $5 a book and kind of assign grades of what they think they are. But most people just do it for free. I look at books anytime I'm at a show. I have, you know, people that I know, friends, and you know, people buying from me and stuff like that. They'll come up and say, what do you think the grade on this is? And friends that are thinking about submitting stuff, hey, what do you think this can get from CGC? Just connect with people in the community that are knowledgeable and ask them. And, you know, that's probably just a better way to do it. I don't think the whole raw grading thing is ever going to catch on.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. Also, you trust your friends a little bit more than you do trusting strangers who you have to pay. So
yeah,
for sure. That is a great question though there. Kate, where are we? Okay, Caleb asked Joe and crew, with the incoming tariffs, what do you predict for price increases in our hobby? Tariffs are stupid. Joe, go ahead. I know a little bit about this, but I do have a little bit.
I mean, hey, let's just hope that tariffs don't happen. Let's just hope that is not something that's going to happen. We have pretty decently high inflation right now. Tariffs are an inflationary policy. I personally hope that doesn't happen. We don't really know what is going to happen. We have, you know, this month an exchange of power. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have high inflation, not as high as it was, but still pretty high. We've had some interest rate changes recently. For those of you who follow the Fed and follow, you know, what's been going on with cuts and things like that, there's a lot of uncertainty. I you know, professionally, for those who don't know, I work in this industry. I'm a financial advisor. P.S. Nothing I say here is ever going to be financial advice on the Canon. That is not something we talk about here. But that's the thing. You know, we don't know what is to come. We don't know if comics have bottomed out from the boom. We don't know if they'll go down another 25, 50%, whatever it may be. We don't know if they'll skyrocket in the next few years. A lot of it's going to have to do with, as we've seen before, how the movies do. You know, is Superman going to be an absolute blockbuster billion-dollar hit that, you know, everyone brings their kids to, everyone tells their cousin about, you know, grandma's coming, you know, to the movies with the family to see Superman because she, you know, grew up reading the comics when she was a kid. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Collect comics because you like them. That's the best way to do it. If you collect comics because you like them, you're never going to be, you know, high and dry about the value of them. There will always be fluctuations in every collectible market, in every market in general, and you know, it's usually does not really help looking at short-term changes. as opposed to, the long-term joy and in entertainment that you get from the hobby, as well as the long-term changes.
Agreed with you, but one thing I did hear is that we do get most, and this is more about newer comics, which I get a majority of new comics over older comics, but the paper we get from Canada, so that would obviously have some sort of
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, or the printers are in Canada, so I'm not quite sure, but I think that would obviously have some sort of an effect. And let's just hope it doesn't happen. So, I don't want to get too much into it, but I didn't know that it's a possibility that it won't happen. I just thought it was going to happen. So,
I mean, it's something that the incoming president has talked about, but he's talked about a whole lot of things that haven't happened. So
that's true. So, maybe some financial forecasters who are bipartisan or, are not part of any sort of agenda will give them, tell them what's what. All right, moving on. Kate, again, for Fresh from the Comic Shop, does the book need to be in its natural state? If you used a book in an art project, hypothetically speaking, no, go for it. Absolutely.
I love this question because
It's a great idea. It's a great question.
Yeah, it not only has to do with another part of the show, which is my favorite segment on the show. By the way, a segment that has been criminally undersubmitted to.
Yeah,
Y'all better get out there and
we have a good amount this week.
Oh, we do. Okay, you told me earlier today we didn't. What are you?
Earlier today we didn't, and everybody just kind of was like,
everyone just, it's Sunday. I better submit to
guys,
do it
get them in
before.
earlier in the week. Help us out, please.
You're gonna give Jack a heart attack. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it on Tuesday.
Yeah,
but no, Kate, I love this idea. It makes it unique. It probably makes it look cool. So it probably checks 2 of the boxes off for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Hopefully you can put out some cool stuff, and also hopefully this question inspires some other people as well.
Yeah, it does check. It'll be unique, right? And it'll probably be a good story. And then you just take a great shot, and you've got all 3 criteria right there. So good question. Spud, I have a question for you. How did you get my name so small? Because I love it, by the way. Ask Joe. What stories are you looking forward to this year? Since I am I collect mostly new comic books. I will say off the top of my head, the new Ultimate Universe is going to have like a crossover event. I'm excited to see that. And again, my Void Rivals, G.I. Joe, and Transformers, tightening up that universe some more and just bringing everything in. I'm excited for that. Joe.
Yeah. So remember how last year I kept talking about how I'm really excited for Jason Aaron to start writing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I haven't read a single one yet.
I have all the issues and I haven't read it either.
I have them. I have not read them yet. I'm excited about that. Grommets, for those of you who have not seen that, it's like 80s vibe skate thing going on. If you're into that kind of thing, check it out. If you watch like Rocket Power as a kid, or have interest in skate culture, it's very cool. I think they're on issue like 6 or 7 right now. I'm behind on reading it, but check out Grommets, and I'll just stick with those 2.
There you go. We said it. All right, moving on. We have Mortal Scruffy. Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh and Dan. I guarantee this is unanimous, by the way. What was the best comic, TV show, movie of 2024? Easy peasy.
TV show and movie. So
maybe
two
I read it as and or.
It says end movie.
Okay, go ahead. I got the.
I'm going to say for movie, it's Deadpool and Wolverine to me.
Yeah, I'd have to say that, but something leads the pack on movies, and like it leads the pack as the best comic book project on TV.
Easy. Yeah.
Penguin, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
No doubt. No, there's no. I mean, I would love to hear what you all think in the chat. If anything beats the Penguin in terms of overall comic book related project on TV or in the theater, it's no doubt Penguin for us for sure. Tom has a question here. Ask Joe, most underrated rogues gallery. Ooh, that's a tough one.
This is a really good one. This is a really good question. I think there's a lot of really underrated rogues galleries because like everyone just like filters through with like the big ones, Batman and Spider-Man and
but it's underrated.
Superman's kind of sucks. Superman's is kind of like an overrated one, in my opinion. Rogues Gallery is kind of beat. I'm gonna go. Man, Howard the Duck is a pretty underrated one with Dr. Bong. Let's go with the Flash.
I was totally gonna say the Flash too.
Were you?
Said the Flash.
Oh, there we go. Oh wow, people said the Flash. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I literally was gonna say the Flash as well. Derek says the X-Men. I think that's there. X-Men has some amazing rogue characters as well.
Here's the thing about X-Men.
So Caleb said the Flash as well.
Oh wow, everyone's saying the Flash.
Yeah.
That's funny that came to both of our minds.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I think it's true. X-Men's an interesting one because, like, you know, you ask like anyone and their grandma, and they know Magneto and maybe Juggernaut, and that's mostly what they know. But man, even going back to the Silver Age, there was you know, the Sentinels, and there was Havoc before he became a good guy, and there was Sunfire before he teamed up with the X-Men. And going into the Claremont era, there was Emma Frost, and there was Mr. Sinister in the later part of that. The X-Men have a really, really good rogues gallery.
They do 100%. But again, it's Flash. Sorry, Pope, you're wrong. Moving on. I think we have one more question here. One more question. This actually kind of segues into this perfectly. If you could be any villain, who would you be?
Ooh, any villain.
Question. Any villain. This is a tough one.
All right, so I mean, this is tough. This is tough. I'm gonna go one Marvel, one DC because I can't decide.
Oh, wow.
I'd be Scarecrow for DC. He's actually my second favorite Batman villain, but I think being him would cool. Like, he's just super, super smart, very crafty in what he does, and like his you know, obviously, like, kind of being able to control people and how they feel is a pretty crazy ability. Similar to that, actually, my Marvel side was going to be Mysterio, who has kind of a similar ability of being able to create these illusions that freak people out. So yeah, I never noticed how kind of similar those two characters are, but we'll go with Mysterio and Scarecrow.
I like both of those, actually. I'm going to say this is kind of out of left field. Because, again, it's like, nobody sees himself as a villain. You know this saying. But, like, I would use my powers for good. But the Purple Man would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. So that's a great question to end on right there. Broik Boy Comics, good work right there. Good work for all y'all. We're going to right now end the segment called Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Whoa! And Jeff. That's right. Ask Joe and Jeff. That's me. Again, let us know what you think about the new fresh comic book canon. Love to hear your thoughts on it. You guys are crushing the comments today. Really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Joe, you are laughing at something before we move on to the next thing.
That's what I'm laughing at.
Oh boy. The Ask Joe theme reminds me of the experience intro for Joe. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And everybody's vibing off of Pope right there. All right, moving on here though. Before we get to our final segment of the show, it's your favorite, you all know and love, but this has become an instant fan favorite right here. It's called Did You Know? This is very special, near and dear to our hearts. We tell stories about that are actually stories that are not quite known, including this one right here regarding Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Did you know Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles share the same origin? Creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird originally conceived the Turtles as a parody of gritty superhero comics of the 1980s, particularly Frank Miller's Daredevil. The homage runs deep. The turtles were mutated by the same radioactive substance that blinded young Matt Murdock and gave him his powers. The parallels don't stop there. Daredevil was trained by a martial arts master named Stick, while the turtles were mentored by their sensei, Splinter. And while Daredevil takes on the ninja clan known as the Hand, the turtles face off against their own ninja adversaries, the Foot Clan. These clever nods to Daredevil show just how much Eastman and Laird drew from their love of comics to craft the turtles' story. What started as a tongue-in-cheek satire quickly grew into a pop culture phenomenon. The turtles made their comic debut in 1984, funded by a mere $200, and the rest is history. From parody to powerhouse, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles proved that even the quirkiest concepts can find their place in the spotlight.
Not many people knew that. That is a fun fact right there for sure. But that is Eastman and Laird kind of creating this parody called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and it becoming a complete pop sensation. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I love Daredevil. I love TMNT. And I remember the first time that someone pointed that out to me, that, you know, Stick and Splinter and Foot Clan and the Hand. I was like, oh, that's really, really cool. And the fact that it's the same, that accident, you know, caused the creation of both of those characters in New York City. I think it's so cool. Wouldn't it be great if we did get a crossover of sorts at some point?
They've done Batman.
Yeah.
So
with Daredevil TMNT, that's a must.
That'd be amazing. All right. Here we are at the end of our show. Now, again, we promised you all a guest, but I have a feeling that the wildfires are preventing that guest from showing up. So I do want to stress from the comic shop here is our next segment, our final segment of the show. We love it. You all love it as well. EGS and Spider Dude have been amazing partners to us. And not a bad thing can be said about them. But as a collective group, we decided that for 2025, they will not be sponsoring Fresh from the Comic Shop, except for the big book of the year for this year, 2025, and 2026. They're still going to partake in that. We are going to find other opportunities for EGS and Spider Dude to work with them again to get you guys some more prizes. So you'll still get monthly prizes with the new sponsor for Fresh from the Comic Shop. And you'll get prizes from our good friends of the show, good friends in general, and, you know, our former sponsors are Fresh from the Comic Shop. So it works out for everybody. We're very happy, you know, again, with everything that they put into this because it takes a lot. I'm not like, it may not seem like a big deal to you, me, or whoever to send out one book for a winner. But Joe, as you know, for somebody who sends out books daily, basically, adding an extra book, it's you got to track down the address. You got to, make sure everything is all in order, package it up. It's not easy, So we truly appreciate Dave and Tony, EGS and Spider Dude, for just being a part of the show. We love them. Y'all should be following them as well. But again, our new sponsor is Crafty Comics. Crafty Comics creates cases, museum quality cases that you can hang on your walls. All of the cases I have here for all of my comic books are Crafty Comics. Now, I have EGS books in Crafty Comics. I have CGC in Crafty Comics. I have Raw books in Crafty Comics. I truly love the product. It's something I believe in, and I'm very happy that Dan and team are part of this. So, with that said, we have a brand new intro for Fresh from the Comic Shop, a completely new look. And why don't we and also, Joe and I don't have to explain what Fresh from the Comic Shop is anymore. Everything is said in this wonderful intro that you're going to be checking out right about now.
Fresh! Fresh from the comic shop. Your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
Okay, so that's the intro right there, and it helps Joe and I out because we don't have to explain what Fresh from the Comic Shop is. If y'all feel that that's too long, let us know, but I personally love it. I'm a little close to it. Joe, I think you like it as well. I think Josh and the Honorable Dan De La Torre do as well. So
yeah, my favorite part is when Jeff randomly texts me when he needs me to create something for the show, and he just texts me, "Hey, I need a video of you crying," and I'm like, okay, and then you see the final product when it's done, and there we go.
Yes, it worked out perfectly again. So again, the 3 criteria you look for: take a well-composed shot, give us a unique book, and pull at our heartstrings. As you saw, Joe and I were obviously looking at something that totally pulled at our heartstrings, and with that, we have a brand new look again with Fresh from the Comic Shop and how we share this with you all. So let's just get it started right here, because we're going to start off with the finals of December to win this amazing EGS book, this Fantastic Four #1. As you can see, this is kind of a co-sponsored thing. You got Spider Dude and EGS on the right side with our Crafty, our new sponsor on the left right there. This is going to be the new look. You'll see soon how this all works. So we had Spud Comics versus Caleb Leland, and the winner was Caleb Leland. You are our winner for December. You are also going to be in the final four, the March Madness for the 2024 Book of the Year. Welcome, congratulations, all that good stuff right there. Well done to everybody who entered this past year. We can't wait to see how you guys even go further than you have before. We truly appreciate to see the growth of Fresh from the Comic Shop. We're truly appreciative of EGS and Spider Dude, and very appreciative of Crafty. So, with that said, Joseph, should we just get into it?
Yes.
We're going to actually get into it. Our first submission is from Caleb Leland. By the way, we're starting off fresh for the new year. Everybody is now eligible. Literally right now, everybody is now eligible to win a book of the month. So we're going to start off with our December winner right here. And as you can see, it's all a little bit different because we do have everything up here with the person's. Gosh, I'm losing it right now. I'm fried, everybody. I'm fried. But you have the person's Instagram tag, you have the book, and you have the explanation here. Comic fam, we made it through another holiday season, and what better way to celebrate than to hold on, I gotta make this bigger. What better way to celebrate than to take some Christmas money and grab issue 2 of The Last Halloween? This series is really starting out very interesting, if a little slow, but that's just how Jeff Loeb sets his stories up, building it up and give us one hell of a payoff at the end. And I couldn't be happier than to have this covered by the late great Tim Sale. His artwork wasn't to everybody's taste, but I always loved it. I hope everyone is doing great, and I can't wait to see what everyone has in store for Fresh from the Comic Shop in the new year. Much love as always, everyone. So again, this is our overall look, brand new look for Fresh from the Comic Shop. I kind of like it. Joe, this is a really nice entry right there, if not for just Caleb having a Batman mask on.
Yeah, love it. Love it that he's in there showing off his book, full force, A+.
100%. Moving on to Nori Jordan. Happy weekend, everyone. When I got back into collecting, and even before I became a Thunderbolt fanatic, I was introduced to the Sentry when I read the Dark Avengers series. Ironically, most of his team was made up of Thunderbolts members. I always thought Sentry was a great character, but with the Thunderbolts movie only a short time away, I figured I needed this first appearance. Sentry is a great character. Even though he is powerful, he still has demons to deal with, just like most people in the world. Despite our strong outside appearance, it is important to know we all have struggles. On to next week. Take care, everyone. That's well said. That's a great message right there. Again, Nori has picked up his game in terms of a well-composed shot. He doesn't really flex outside the box of Thunderbolts, but that's the only knock. That's the only knock right there. Moving on. Oh, shoot. Why don't we just start showing our fresh gets? Joe, your first fresh get of the week.
Sure. This is one of my rediscovered fresh gets. This is a book I bought, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, and it got lost in the shuffle, and I just refound it. And it's not really something that I specifically collect, but I think I just bought it because it was a good deal. So this one actually may be going up for sale. This is Startling Comics number, what issue number is this? 33. It is an Alex Schomburg cover. And the really cool thing that I like about it is, check this out down here. It's got a war bonds and stamps little advertisement. It says buy war bonds and stamps for a victory. And right next to the war bonds thing is the Japanese flag.
That's crazy.
And it looks like it's hanging off of the war bonds thing. And I was like, that's a weird placement for that. I thought that was really funny. Obviously not intended, the stamp wasn't on there. The war bonds ad wasn't on there when Alex Schomburg drew it. That was something that was added later. I just thought it could have been placed on the other side of the book where there's nothing.
I mean, I don't know. Back then, they thought of those sorts of things. Would anybody think that? But that's a big miss for the editor right there.
Yeah,
Dr. Plague, this isn't expired from the comic shop. Do I see mold on that thing?
No mold. All
right, that's good. All right, moving on. We have Slick Jolly right here. Slick Jolly. One of the things that got me into comics back in the day was my love of the X-Men. The X-Men Saturday morning cartoon. I remember just being completely absorbed into this whole new world, and that feeling has stuck with me ever since. This comic, Uncanny X-Men 142, is my all-time favorite comic ever, and finding a 9.8 has been on my list for some time. I finally acquired one to start the year. In addition, I came across a whatnot seller. Sorry, I had the burp. Named Slab Town Comics, who makes wooden 3D comic covers, recreations on a request basis. After several months of waiting, this arrived and my excitement reached a peak level. So excited to share these very important pickups to the comic community. Yo, that is so cool. That's right up there with Maz Paz that, has the leather. And I think we've seen some of his designs comic related as well. But Slick Jolly, that is fantastic. Well done right there. All right, my first fresh get that I'm going to share with you for 2025 is it's Lucky Devils #1. This is from 8 billion genies creators, Soul, and who's the artist? Ryan Brown. So I'm excited to read this because 8 billion genies was a fun read. Lucky Devils #1. Excited to have that as well. All right, moving on to our next submission. It is Josh's Comics, our very own Josh. I'm Rich, Superman #680, crypto variant covered by Alex Ross. What better way to start our first freshman comic shop than with potentially the biggest modern book in existence? A book once found in the dollar bin and honestly probably still can. This beautiful cover is one of the most expensive books in demand. Most comic influencers would agree with me. If you don't own this book, then freak out and pay 10 times over this fair market value just so you have it. Remember, us comic influencers know what's best for every collector, so always say yes to FOMO. P.S. This is a joke, was approved and sponsored by Josh's Comics 01. Seriously, say no to FOMO. But still a pretty good get right there, don't you think?
I believe Josh said that he actually found that at one of my dollar bin sales at my house. Hey, listen.
Fact, Josh, is that true?
That is correct. It's about to write it in the thing, but yeah, I found it last year, and Joe does his annual 2 or 3 times a year dollar bins at his sale, and yeah, man, I got lucky. Love you, Joe.
Sure did. All right, we're gonna see you at the end of the show. We don't want to hear the story. Sorry. We should bring the judge in. He says he has one fresh get to share.
Let's see
Judge
it.
De La Torre, real quick. What do you got?
All right. I got this one at GalaxyCon here, and it was a stunner because it's not in the best shape, but it does present very well, and it's an early Spider-Man. I paid only $50 for this, and it's ASM 21.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that. Looks like it presents well there, Dan.
It does present well. Yeah, I was lucky to get it. In fact, when I got it from the vendor, it was one of the larger comic shops, and they looked at it and say, "Oh, they mismarked it or whatever. Should have been more." I'm like, "He's got $50 on it, so I'll wander off with this."
Joe, did you have that 2 weeks ago or something?
It wasn't me. No,
I saw that somewhere. I mean, that's a beautiful Ditko cover. Beautiful.
Second appearance of the Beetle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is. I always thought that was the first appearance of the Beetle for the longest time. I didn't realize that he was in Strange Tales first.
Yes, I had that.
But Beetle, let's talk about how we're talking about underrated villains.
Underrated, yeah. But
underrated villain right there.
It was Rogues, and Spider-Man's Rogues is not underrated. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. All right, our judge. Joe, let's go. What do you got? Second fresh get of the week.
This is cool. This is actually a magazine size comic book, Vampirella from Warren Publications. This is issue number 18. Beautiful cover. Pretty much every Vampirella cover is an absolute stunner. Like, just some amazing art for the time. You know, late 70s and 80s. Actually, late 60s is when she started. But this would have been 1972 on this one. This is the first appearance of Lilith, who, as if you know, like, you know, Dracula lore, in at least, you know, in Marvel specifically, Dracula's daughter is named Lilith. Dracula is public domain, so anyone can use Dracula. It shouldn't have been for quite a bit of time, but there was an error in the copyright back in the late 1800s. I think the 1890s when Bram Stoker died, and it went into public domain like way sooner than it should have, which is why we got all those like Universal movies and stuff like that. And the original Nosferatu in 1922, and actually this book and the fact that Nosferatu just came out, I just saw it 2 weeks ago, kind of got me reading into all this stuff. So I did a bunch of research on it. Pretty cool that like Lilith is the daughter of Dracula, and then Lilith was used as the name of Vampirella's mother. So it does have that.
Oh God!
Wow, what are you doing, man?
Oh God, that's terrible of me. That is a very cool book right there. Also, the explanation of it's public domain now and how it all. I mean, it's been public domain for a while, but how that all kind of plays out is very cool as well. That's an outside the box book for you, Joe. So well done right there. All right, moving on. We have Raising Elm. Talk about outside the box. This is not his typical type of submission. Here we go. Howdy, comic fan. For this year's first submission to the canon, I wanted to share something basic and without frills, to present something simply unremarkable, something just generic. Not too long ago, I found a post about this particular one-off issue being shared amongst members of comic book groups that I follow on Facebook. Colored me intrigued. This story, written as a spoof of the genre by Larry Hama and Steve Skeets, follows a nameless 8-to-5 average Joe who is bestowed with unbelievable powers and becomes a superhero. Makes me ponder on all the new opportunities and remarkable moments this year has to offer. Remember this, what may seem simple or generic to others may be your superpowered dream come true. Much love, comic fan. That's very cool, actually. I'd never heard of this book, and I am intrigued. That is a unique book right there for sure. All right, my second fresh get of the week. This has been a running favorite of mine, Geiger. I love this cover, too. This is Geiger number 10. Again, the whole like unnamed universe, so good. I highly recommend this if you guys are looking for something new to read. Geiger, Redcoat, Rockefellers, those books. Oh, Hyde Street, very good. I highly recommend them. Check them out. Again, if you are jonesing for something to read. Moving on, we got supercrispy.comics, our popcorn subject here. Super late submission for Fresh from the Comic Shop, but I just found the sweet crossover this morning at the Swamp Meet. I think I said Swamp Meet. Everybody make sure to check out Comic Book Canon every Sunday and share your Fresh from the Comic Shop for a chance to win a badass slab. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Well done there for sure. Joseph, your third fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, so this is more just the book's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's more for the grade that this book has. I got this from my buddy. I bought a bunch from him. He's a big Batman collector, and every time he wants to pare down stuff or get rid of a lower grade. So this was just something he was looking to move. I bought a bunch of books from him. This is Detective Comics number 358, a Silver Age Detective Comics book. 12 center, great cover. Was it 65? 66, 1966 here. First appearance of the Spellbinder, so there's a little minor key there. Infantino cover? Yep, Infantino and Giella on this cover. But the thing that's really unique about this book, check this out. Again, 1966.
Oh!
9
Oh,
9-4, near mint, a near mint book from 1966.
damn.
Not just that, but a Batman book, and not just that, but a first appearance. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. I love that cover too, by the way. Well done, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Carmine Infantino just absolutely killed it when he was a cover artist for DC.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really nice looking book. Who do we have now? Oh, we got Dr. Plagueis, another favorite of ours here. Look at this. Star Wars Tales 24, first appearance of Darth Nihilus in a small 5-page story. Probably some of my favorite pages in comics ever. Damn. Recently added a minty version of this book to my collection since my copy I've had since 2005 is spine ticked to all hell. Dark Horse era Star Wars holds a special place in my heart as those were the first comics I picked up as a young kid, and the expanded world of Star Wars they introduced to me is this day is my favorite content to jump into. Happy New Year to my comic book canon family. Yeah, that's some pretty strong words right there. That they're probably some of his favorite pages in comics ever. Do you feel that, Joe?
I do, and I love that picture as well.
Yeah, for sure. So something to think about. All right, my last fresh get of the week here. Wait, Joe, you did three, right?
I did 3.
Okay. My last fresh get of the week, Joe. I think you'll appreciate this. I've been enjoying Creature Commandos. I went to my local comic book shop today. Oh, yeah, Comics in Harrison, New York. And I got Detective Comics 469 for $10. Dr. Phosphorus. That's it.
Oh,
I love
nice.
this cover. Yeah. And it was in pretty good condition until I just dropped it. But yeah, I was really happy to see this. You know, it's definitely not in the best condition right here, but I love this cover. And I love how quirky that character is on Creature Commandos. I have not seen the finale yet, so nobody spoiled that for any of us. Moving on, we got our good friend, and we're going to be on the show on the 25th of January. Mod Comics right here. First from the comic shop, Adventures into Weird Worlds, issue number 22 from 1953, published by Atlas Comics. I've been fascinated with the history of comics ever since I started collecting, particularly pre-code horror books, which along with other covers from salacious crime, romance, and mystery comic books from what era eventually caused Frederick Wertham to publish Seduction of the Innocent, which led to the creation of the Comic Book Code Authority. I'm starting to collect vampire pre-code horror covers, and this one by Bill Everett, creator Namor, is just a fantastically composed work of art, complete with a blonde woman in a red dress being carried off by the undead. Graded by CGC at 4.5, the colors and structures are in fantastic condition for a 71-year-old book. Damn. I mean, damn. That's a great setup right there and a nice little story to share with us. And finally, we have Nuke's Comics right here. Fresh from the comic shop, Wolverine 1. This is the Gleason Adamantium variant. Logan has returned to his primal origins, running with a wolf pack. However, there's a hunter after him. Can Nightcrawler intervene and survive? Will Logan return to his humanity in time to save him? I picked this up from DBS. Good stuff indeed. Happy New Year, Comic Book Canon and Company. Nukes. All right. I'm going to do something we don't traditionally do, and that's bringing everybody to the stage here for Fresh from the Comic Shop, because again, we were supposed to have a guest. We don't, and so Joe and I, it's gonna weigh on us. Everybody is eligible here except for Joshua, and we got some deciding to do. Joe, how many books stick out to you?
A couple of them stick out. I'll just throw one out off the bat, and that was Dr. Plagueis. You want to put that up?
Dr. Plagueis sticks out for me as well, for sure.
Okay. So we've got, not only do we have the comic, specifically the comic pages, and Dr. Plagueis talking about what that meant to him, and how he had a beat copy of the book that he had read over and over again. That's awesome. But also to pair with it, we have a Darth Nihilus action figure and Darth Nihilus. I guess that's a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Right there. So we've kind of got like a bunch of stuff paired with it. The background, super sick, gloomy, dark, and it looks like there's a little bit of maybe a filter on this that kind of is making it a little bit like hazy or something like that. It just presents very, very nicely, has a great story, and is definitely a unique book. We're actually seeing the inside of the book here. So, kind of unique, specifically picking out these panels, and the first appearance here. I believe this is the first appearance. Yeah, first appearance of Darth Nihilus. So this checks the boxes for me, and definitely one of the ones that stands out.
Yeah, for sure for me. And what weighs heavily for me is the 5 pages, probably some of his favorite pages in all of comics. I think that's a big deal. Love his setup as well. I think he's like desaturated the color in some way. He's put some work into this image, which again falls under taking a well-composed shot, pulling at our heartstrings. So well done there, Dr. Plagueis. I'll go next. Mon Comics sticks out to me as well, just with the history, the pre-horror, the setup as well, the picture. Love what he's done here. I know it's probably against his wall at home, but I think it works with the kind of the way that the wood is laid out against the wall. It's just everything here works for me, on top of it being a really cool book. So that's mine right there as well. That's my second one. Joseph, do you have a second one as well?
That one was also one of the ones that stuck out to me for sure. And the third one that really stuck out to me was Caleb Leland's.
Okay, Caleb, where are you? There we go.
We got him in the picture. Awesome.
Yeah, we do have him in the picture for sure.
We've got a lot of stuff going on here. We got the Batman shirt. We got the Batman mask. We've got Caleb Leland holding up the book. And obviously, Long Halloween is I would call it like a kind of a cult classic kind of Batman story. And obviously we recently in the last year lost Tim Sale. One of the creators and one of the great Batman artists of the modern age. So that's definitely tugging at the heartstrings there. Go Birds. I agree.
Okay, that does not make my third one right here because I have to say Slick Jolly with this X-Men 142 like this wood panel that this artist did for him. That's outstanding.
Yep, this was one of mine.
Absolutely outstanding right there. So we have some decisions to make, and I have a top 2.
You have a top. Okay, I have a top. Do I have a top 2 here?
I have top 2, and they're really close.
Okay, name one of your top 2.
Slick Jolly.
Okay. Slick Jolly would be up there for me. I got Dr. Plagueis here.
Dr. Plagueis for me as well.
Okay, so we kind of have the same top 2 here.
Yes. One weighs heavier for me than the other.
Well, show them both on the screen again. I think we need a good look at them.
We'll go Slick Jolly first.
Yep.
Then we'll go Dr. Plagueis second.
All right. So they both of these books clearly mean a lot to these two. So I think they're both kind of on equal ground with it being, Slick's favorite book of all time that he's been working on, getting a good grade. We've got, Dr. Plagueis saying those are his favorite panels. So that, the heartstrings, the story, that's checked for both of them.
Yep.
Uniqueness, I think that Slick Jolly wins that. I think that the wood panels is definitely really cool. Now, Dr. Plagueis, he does check the box with, showing some interior panels as well as the figures. That's unique as well. But I think just the wood carving, you really just don't see that very often. Then when it comes to the presentation, I'll say the opposite. I'll say that the Dr. Plagueis' presentation definitely is he put everything together really nicely, did a little maybe filter on that and stuff like that, background. Slick Jolly's, we got a good angle, we got good lighting and stuff, but there's not like a lot of added stuff to it. So they both check the box, but I think Dr. Plagueis outweighs on that one. So I'm kind of at a stalemate on those two. Are you favoring one? Okay, you're favoring one more than the other.
Yes. I don't know. Do you want me to say who it is and why?
Well, if I'm stalemating and you're favoring one, then the one you're favoring wins.
This is why we have the judge too. I'm going to say it, and then Joe, maybe you'll have some final words, and the judge will chime in. Dr. Plagueis for me should advance because of the weight of how he explains what it means to him. I think he did a better job than Slick Jolly in that respect because it's pretty big to say something like probably some of my favorite pages in comics ever. That goes a long way for me.
It does.
And that's why I lean towards Dr. Plagueis.
Okay.
Joe, do you have any final words on that?
I'm good with that. If you had picked Slick Jolly, for the reason that we've probably never seen a wood carving before,
Yeah,
I would have given him that too. So I was just going to go with whatever you did there because I was pretty deadlocked on those two submissions.
Well, it's great. This is the first semifinal. We're picking our first semifinalist here of the year, and we have the judge here. So, Judge, please deliberate or whatever it is you do.
So what is your guys' final decision?
Well,
I guess
we'd like you to chime in because these are really close, almost neck and neck between Slick Jolly and Dr. Plagueis. For me, Dr. Plagueis edges out Slick Jolly. Joe was at a stalemate and could not make a determination himself because they're exactly neck and neck for him. So Joe was saying that because I lean more towards Dr. Plagueis probably should advance.
Okay, before I weigh in, I was leaning towards Caleb Leland for one reason and one reason only. It takes a lot of courage to dress up out for everyone to see and all that. So shout out to Caleb Leland for courage and just always great photos and great commentary. Bring me back on, Jeff. I would never ever dress up. I don't have the courage. But the other thing I may have to abstain, and the reason why is that wood paneling, someone actually carved that. See, I work in the wood industry. I've been doing this almost 50 years, and so I'm extremely heavily leaning towards that because it's so damn unique. And so I'm not certain if I need to be weighing in. Let's bring Josh in. Josh, what's your thought on this?
Oh man. So I gotta say, I like all three. Dr. Plagueis over here, man, love it. I love the wood carving too. The wood carving, Dan made a good point about that. I mean, I'm sure that took a long, long time to make, and something unique that we probably never seen before. At least I've never seen it before. And then Cade too. I mean, I really love the Batman submission, and I gotta agree. I think dressing up and putting yourself out there with your comic that it takes a little bit and stuff, and so I love that submission. But if I had to pick one out of the three, man, I'm probably gonna lead a little bit more towards Doc. I think the way it's set up, the way how he incorporates the figures in there, and we get to see the page and the lighting and everything in the background. It's something that really grabs me a little bit more. But that's just my opinion.
Well, that's all I needed to hear. I'm going to rule in favor of Dr. Plagueis.
Dr. Plagueis, you are moving on to the semifinals of January and the first semifinals of 2025. Sorry, Judge.
Case dismissed. You have to hear the gavel.
Yes, we absolutely did.
I will say, first one of 2025. I almost forgot what year it was. First one of 2025. Everyone's, back in the running now, and also just like great submissions. Like that was one of the hardest decisions
that was the hardest for me. I can't remember being that close.
Yeah,
it took all four of us to figure it out.
It really did. And we're glad that you were able to chime in on that. So again, Dr. Plagueis, congratulations. You're moving on to the semifinals. Congratulations to you all for making it through the first episode of 2025 Comic Book Canon, the #1 show on YouTube. Amazing. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. This has been a fantastic show. I speak for everybody. We're very excited and proud to be able to show you the new fresh paint in the house. We got more cool things coming on, down the road here. We're just continuing to grow, and we love doing this. We love hanging out with you guys on a Sunday night. Judge, you have any final words?
No. Happy New Year to everyone. It's going to be a great year this year. I think it's going to be a great year for the comic market. Even though the economy is not so good, prices are coming down, but that's a great time to buy comics.
Facts. Joshua.
Happy New Year to everybody. To all of our fans that are out west right now in California that may be affected, we're with you guys. We're here. We can support you anyway. Let us know, and we hope everybody's staying safe. And yes, welcome to the new year. Welcome to a new canon. I'm excited. I think the show is looking fantastic, and I can't wait to see everybody's submissions. And please, put the word out. Let people know about the canon. Let's get some more eyes on this thing. Let's get some more fresh from the comic book shops in. Let's see some newer, unique things we haven't seen before. I would love to see that. Yeah.
For sure. Joseph.
2025, new year, new me. Nah, same old me. Let's be real. I'm going to just be as annoying as ever this year. Lots going on. Con season is upon us. I've got my first one of the year next weekend. I've got honestly a lot going on. For those of you who don't know, I started selling with Elite Comics 11. I did one show in December, and next weekend I'll be doing a show, and it's going to be a monthly thing for me, at least monthly as of right now. I would. I'd love to see some more Fresh from the Comic Shop submissions. Some of you are every week, some of you are every couple weeks. Just put something together. I would just love to see more of your fresh gets and be able to show off more of that. It really is my favorite segment.
It's fun.
Seeing all the stuff people have, creative ideas, even just kind of seeing what everyone's taste is. Even if you just quick snapshot in a couple sentences, just kind of learning more about each other in the community through that is awesome. So keep it up and make 2025 a great year.
And that's what it's all about. You, the community, we love you. We do it for you. We can't do it without you. So with that said, everybody's going to have a fantastic 2025. Again, our hearts are out to the people in California. As Josh said, please hit any of us up, anybody that's part of the show or what have you, and this larger community. Until next week, we are live next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, every Sunday night. Until then, be good to yourself and please be good to others.